Some actors love attention.
Absolutely.
I've been around them.
Absolutely. And I'm always kind of like, oh, wow. It's one of you.
Max? Max, get down. It's not safe. Max! Celine! Alice?
Congratulations on this film. Your performances are incredible. But please tell me you're prepared for people to be calling you both mother more than they do already.
I'm all into it. I'm so into it. I've had so many friends who've seen the trailer and are just beside themselves. They're ready to see this high glamour, like, face off. And the fact that we actually love each other in real life, I think adds to that.
Yeah.
They want to see us, like, go at each other in the 1960s in these very dramatic moments. So it's a good fun.
And there's
Well,
really
mother
just
is the
no
highest
higher honor than to be mother.
Thank you. Mother is the highest compliment.
Yeah.
I agree.
We see in this film how Celine and Alice start off as the perfect neighbours. Out of all of the amazing characters that you've both played, who would you choose to live next door to, and who would you move towns from?
I would be next door to Celia Foote from The Help, because she'd just be a good time.
So sweet.
So sweet. Oh my gosh. She just make me laugh all the time.
I want to say thank you.
I would move away from Lucille Sharp, from Crimson Peak. There's probably a lot of people I'd move away from, but she would definitely be number one, because I know she'd invite me to some tea parties that I would not survive from.
No, probably can't relax around her.
No.
Not so much. Not because I don't like her, but I would move away from Amelia Brand because that planet does not look that friendly. So I would move away from Interstellar. And who I would want to be neighbors. I'm going to stick with Christopher Nolan. I want to be neighbors with Selena Kyle. I bet she's got some great stories.
Oh yeah.
Don't be shy.
And I feel like you'd always be safe as well.
I feel like you would never be bored.
You need to separate the grief from the guilt.
What guilt, Alice?
The tension between these characters really raised my blood pressure. And I know that you're both really good friends in real life. So I was wondering, how does a bond like yours help when playing these women who have such a turbulent relationship?
It helps and it makes it harder. It's like this double-edged sword. It helps because we don't need to constantly check in with each other as you would with a stranger, to be like, are you okay?
You know,
Are you
this
mad
isn't
at me? Yeah.
Yeah.
How is this working? So that's helpful that there's trust there. It's just also really painful to be cruel to someone that you love. So that made it more complicated.
Yeah, it's really hard to watch someone you love in pain and be playing a character who is part of the reason why they're in pain. You know, like who we are as people, if we ever did anything to each other, we would drop everything immediately to settle it. It's just the way, you know.
Yeah.
And it hasn't ever really happened, but I just, in my some imaginary future. But I also, one of the things that I wanted to say is that one of the villains of this piece is the whole concept of perfection. And the idea, and the thing that I'm so grateful for about our friendship is we can actually be real with each other.
Yeah.
And the thing about, you know, these women is for a time they can be their most real selves, but they're still expected to perform. They're still expected to meet outside expectations that really care very little about their wants, needs, desires, or true selves. And so, so I just feel like we're very lucky that we get to have this real relationship, and that they were not as lucky.
No.
You're the dream duo, but you realise watching this how you may never fully know a person. Not everyone is how they seem. And I imagine it's similar being in the public eye in the sense that everyone thinks that they know you. What do you think some of the biggest misconceptions about actors are?
Well, maybe the biggest one is that we could all be the same thing, because I've worked with so many different actors. The way they work is different, the way they navigate the world is different, but then also that we are very much like our characters. That's something that I find a lot, and I think that's probably why I play such different characters so often, is I don't want anyone to be able to point to a character and go, oh, that's Jessica. I want it to be a little bit more mysterious, and I think it's a stereotype when you watch something and just assume the actor is the character that you see in front of you.
I have not met a writer yet who could capture you. I'm just going to say that. Like, you're so many things. The other misconception is that actors love attention.
Yes. Oh my God.
I think that people would be surprised how often we're actually just kind of very sensitive introverts trying not to be in.
Some actors love attention.
Absolutely.
I've been around them.
Absolutely. And I'm always kind of like, oh, this is one of you. And then, but that's not everybody.
And do people ever think that you're like a certain character that you've played? Because I have spoken to Jessica about this before, and Jessica was saying that it happens to her quite often.
I think that my experience with people is because some of my movies from my earlier career have remained popular. What I see is less whether or not people believe that I'm that character, but I get to see the depth of their relationship with that film. And in some cases, I'm talking to someone and they've loved a film I was in since they were like 5. And it's incredibly meaningful and so sweet and touching. And so we don't really talk about it like that. It's usually more about just how excited we are to meet each other, I guess, finally, after all these years,
Well, you're genuinely 2 of my faves. And before I go, I want to say, Anne, I've never felt more represented than when I saw you crying over Barbara Streisand at the SAG Awards.
Oh my gosh. How great was her speech? I couldn't help it. But thank you. Yes, yes.
I got to hang out with her after the SAG Awards. That's part of the reason I've lost my voice, because it was a really loud room.
Barbara stole it.
I know. I was like, we talked about Ibsen. We talked about, it was a dream come true. Come on.
Rad.
It was pretty special.
The dream. She's my queen.
Sorry, I just have to. It was, in addition to just how wonderful it was to see her give a speech, it was seeing her filmography in that beautiful clip, and just seeing, someone who really gives everything she has, and what she has to give is so much. But she has given every single performance. She doesn't just show up. She gives her entire heart and her entire soul and her magnificent intelligence to everything, and she's just contributed so much to the language of cinema in a visual, emotive, entertainment-based way. And I know I felt incredibly moved by it. But I did not hang out with her afterwards. I went home and slept.
And that's why you have a voice.
But that's why you have a memory.